Hello, chat. This is Magic Fish Radio, and before I go into the producer spiel, can someone tell us that they can hear us? Because Saturday was
I
more...
can hear you.
Okay.
But I won't.
Off the volume on my stream so it doesn't actually accidentally get picked up on the mic again.
We are audible. Confirmed.
Yay! Thank you, Mod Ferratu. Strax's new name. Anyway. Hi, this is Magic Fish Radio, and we are audible, and that's great, because Saturday got weird, and also last Tuesday, but we fixed it before stream that time. Anyway, we do tabletop RPG streams on Tuesdays and Saturday nights. On Saturdays, we do N1 in Space, and also Indie RPG Night. This Saturday, Mercurqui is going to run, Karabos, the Crystal City, with the full Kickstarter package, which she just received in the mail, and we are all very excited. But tonight it's Tuesday, so we are playing V5, Vampire the Masquerade, set in the bleeding 1920s. What other producer things? Oh, join our Discord. Join our Discord. We are still open to new players for, this game will wrap up this is the penultimate episode. We should wrap up next Tuesday, one way or another. Either by achievement or rocks fall, everyone dies. We'll see where the next 2 weeks takes us.
I'll try to make it marginally more satisfying than that if we're rushing towards the end. Worst comes to worst, I'll ask you to just open up the stream like half an hour early, and I'll just read off an epilogue of what happens to everyone before the alien game starts.
And thus the Third Inquisition started.
Yeah,
80 years too early. No, 100 years too early.
Yeah.
No, 80, because it was post 9/11. Anyway, yeah, we're taking some fun liberties with lore, because it's V5, but it's the 1920s, and yay.
I fucking said so.
So yeah, we still have room in...
Fair.
After this, we're going to do a 4-shot game of Alien the RPG with pre-gens. And there's still room for more players if you went in on that. And after that is 4 weeks of G.I. Joe with the Essence 20 system. Gaming gods be merciful. If you're interested in gaming with us for either of those, or both, join our Discord and then fill out the new player application form. We're
I also just dropped the form in chat, so.
Awesome. Also, based on having to break out the 9-person screen last Eden game, I think we're full up on players for Eden right now. But we are always looking for more people to play one-shots with us as GM or player. So go join our Discord. Join our Discord. Join the Discord.
Join us. Join us.
One of us.
And yes, welcome to Fennec, our new one of us.
Hi.
Woohoo! New people, new gamers, yay! Always fun. And one last bit of bookkeeping, we do have chat can buy in for buffs and nerfs for our player and GM, but we use channel points instead of cash because there's an apocalypse going on, and you'll need your cash for other things. So.
Incidentally, I got a GM +1.
Yeah, some nice person named Fennec bought you a GM +1.
Torture me. It's fine.
So we have and we have player pools. So players, we have 11 +1s, so that's an additional die to add to your roll. 2 willpowers that we can use to refresh our willpower when we spend it. And 3 crit conversions. Turn 1 bestial failure into a messy critical. Which I don't think...
So take something horrible and make it less bad.
Which we haven't actually had to do yet, which, you know, we'll see.
Partially because none of you have really gotten hungry enough for it to be an issue.
The GM now has 21 +1s. But the GM has sometimes given them to players because we're that effed sometimes.
Well, mostly when he just doesn't want us to accidentally murder NPCs that he likes.
I mean, that's fair.
One NPC I protected this way, but that's because I have plans for him if we return to the Modern Knights, and it really doesn't help if you all murder him in the 1920s. But then again, I could always deem this non-canon to that. But I haven't decided on that point yet.
There might be more V5 in the future. Might be a sequel game. Might be just a Modern Knights game. We'll see. But I'm out of producer things to say, so on to our GM, John.
Hi, welcome one and all. If you're watching us live, good to have you here. If you're watching us from the future, welcome to the olden times. This is how we used to do things back when I was young.
I can't afford a color zoom window. It's so expensive. No.
In order for me to stream, I had to run the cables uphill both ways. That being said, as just a quick addendum to the forms, because sometimes reading and listening comprehension can be a problem, there are notifications in that PvP is something you should be made aware of, and you need to mark if it is an issue for you or not, because by the nature of the rules of the alien game, PvP is a thing that is likely to happen because of the nature of character goals, which all the characters, the pre-generated characters in the adventures, all have. And those goals will often conflict, especially when someone's being a greedy douche, someone else wants to save their own ass, and someone wants to save someone dear to them.
And someone's an incubator.
Again, you all assume it's just the one.
Oh, no.
Bold of you. Bold of you. But that being said, yes, and welcome back one and all. We are now entering into what should be the penultimate adventure. That depends on how they want to take things, but I will try to expedite things as much as possible. However, as I have had a history during this chronicle of making new players sometimes wait to get around, we will do a little something with our new player Fennec beforehand
Prologue!
To get them a
Yay!
little up to speed and
new player prologue. This
yes.
other GM approves. So
yes,
I did on Saturday.
I will work that in because I have a bad habit of sometimes dragging things out too long before people get in, and I'm trying to fix that. I'm trying to fix that, but people are less upset at you when it's a prologue. But yes, that being said, we will now reintroduce our players, including our new player, and then we will begin our adventures in Vienna. As you've all now met the prince and the sheriff and their shit that need doing. So, first and foremost, Justin, if you would kindly introduce yourself, your character.
Hey everybody, I'm Justin, him, and I portray Andrew Giles, a gangrel who's been hired to keep an eye on, to basically make sure Charisse and Vern make it back out of Vienna mostly intact, at least still not dead, but it's pretty simple. He's there to just be like, okay, things are getting bad, we're leaving now. That's basically his job, to make sure that if things go south, they get out they get out of Vienna in they get out of Vienna alive, or at least not final death.
Mostly dead is still slightly alive.
Oh yeah, pretty true.
Sounds about right. So yes, Eleanor, if you would kindly introduce yourself and your character, who everyone's going to get a good heaping spoonful of shortly.
Hey y'all, I'm Fennec. I use she, her pronouns. You can find me on most socials at the Fennec Wolf. I will be playing Eleanor Tannis, a jazz lounge singer who has a penchant for sculpting things, as we should say. So she'll be around to introduce herself here in a minute, but don't worry, doll. Just wait for the show.
Yeah. Sorry that I had forgotten you called the character Eleanor for a second, and since you have that where everyone else puts their screen names.
Oh, flop it.
Yeah.
That one's on me.
We have no hard and fast rules here.
And then, of course, everyone's favorite murder trash goblin, Dracus, if you would so kindly.
Hi, I'm Dracus. I promise I'm not a murder trash goblin in real life, but that sums up my character pretty well. I'm playing Vern, the local Nosferatu, who is walking the knife edge between choosing good and choosing evil. So we're gonna see how this plays out, and it will be very fun.
And as a friendly reminder to everyone at home, Diablerize responsibly.
No.
It's not a vampire game until somebody does it.
Oh, I've already done it.
It's a vampire game. And they diablerized the Bali, so their lines were neon green.
It was fun.
That's the thing.
Balefire Diablery lines. And a couple of Bane spirits in their head, which we removed to avoid having to do that to streamline time for the last 2 episodes.
Woohoo. Thank goodness
And
for platoons
then-
of sleeping salubri.
I love the Salubri, and I wanted to make them scary as shit.
They're scary.
They are. You succeeded.
Thank you.
Anyway.
Moving on, and our fantastic channel producer to round everything out.
Hi, I'm Ms. Chrysula, and I am playing Charisse Lowell, who is 2 Malkavians for the price of 1, and thanks to doing a favor for the Malk Primogen, now Prince of Paris, her derangement is leveled up, I guess? And 2 personalities that did not previously share information now can, sometimes to the frustration of one for the other. Or no, for both, really, at different times. Yeah. And honestly, Fennec would be a really fun name for a lounge singer, too, I think. With those sculpting abilities, like, imagine the branding.
Do a little dead mouse, going on.
Great big ears.
The worst part of it all, the worst part is that I can see it. I can picture someone doing it.
Especially in Vienna.
Let me see. Next character concept.
I'm done. Stream's canceled.
And that's
great.
your
We
dose of
killed the
body
GM
horror.
15 minutes in.
Our brand new player killed the GM in the game hasn't even started yet. Good job.
You win something.
You've overcome the Bali and killed the whole world because everyone else in the world is dead now. Congratulations.
I get to come back
you are
Saturday.
history's greatest monster.
Oh, also warning to anyone new in chat, we are very... Well, I'm the channel producer and I am pro puns. So everyone's just gonna have to deal with that. I'm not always good at them, but I do welcome them. Yes.
I think they're pretty punny.
Right. Well then.
It's like PvP, people could give or take. Puns, oh, that's a divisive issue on the internet. Sorry. Keep going.
When last we left our coterie, after having finally made their way to Vienna, having spoken with an ancient salubri, sleep beneath the city streets, and discovering that there's a whole bunch of other scary shit buried down there, some deeper than others, they find themselves in a safe house, which quickly becomes not so safe because somebody's gone and hijacked the early stages of the ShrekNet. And a couple of fucked up Chemise ghouls with hammers and large knives for hand, and one of them...
Wait, those were ghouls? Oh, for fuck's sake!
Yeah, those were the modified ghouls of the Chemise.
Those weren't even the real Chemise. Oh, gee, oh,
Oh, the one who tried to use vicissitude on you was a real Chemise, but the 3 breaking down the door were ghouls.
I would hope so. Anyway.
And after I said, the people coming to the house are presumably not here to kill us.
They then proceed. At that point, point, you were still under the impression that you had spoken to a Nosferatu.
Yeah.
Because
I've been laughing about that for a week.
I'm glad I could put a smile on your face. After tearing off into the night and eventually becoming rescued, because turns out the Nosferatu are still fantastic information gatherers, and even though they lost their branch of the Shreknet, they have now turned around and managed to get up to their own shits and shenanigans. While they lost one car and a couple of Nosferatu, a flaming Molotov cocktail takes out the two kindred that were chasing you in the truck. You watch as three Nosferatu working together manage to obfuscate your vehicle, and you are brought to a safe house inside Vienna, where you are brought in past a bunch of guarding Nos that are drifting in and out from the debris of a burned out building, where you are introduced to the former/current prince and her sheriff, the oldest living and functional kindred as far as anyone knows in the city of Vienna. The oldest one anyone knows about. And you discover that the kindred that blew up that or set fire to that truck and helped obfuscate everything is in fact your missing sire, Watts.
That motherfucker, who was terribly apologetic.
He came here to do a favor. He thought he'd be gone like a week. He didn't realize it was going to be a whole thing, but you're all about to tell him some information he didn't have. Well, y'all basically told him the information he didn't have yet. And it ended with you all kind of having a happy hug moment and about to prepare to figure out where to go forward. But for now, let's rewind things a bit. Take us back a ways. And we'll start things off. For you, this would start about a... Yeah, no, that wouldn't make sense. We'll have you pick up about a year ago, which is when in Vienna all of the shit started becoming more obviously wrong. The crowds are gathered, drinks are poured, the lights turn to the stage, and you step out and you belt out a performance that draws the attention of everyone present, all the kind. Eyes upon you as you command. You command attention in a way that mostly only a Toreador or a Ventru could. And most would probably be forgiven for mistaking you for a Toreador, given your chosen profession. But you walk among the dragons, the fiends, the fleshcrafters, the covetous of the kindred, who desire to have all things under their boot at all times, as well you know, having spent a long time under your sires. But after escaping from his control, you managed to find a life for yourself here in Vienna. It's been hard since the end of the Great War. Things have been scarce, but that's why people will come to these places and will listen to you sing. They want something to make them forget how fucking awful everything is now. After the end of what was to be the war that ended all wars. Now, the Chemise in the city, they've always tended to keep to themselves. They rule over their own domains, and you don't cross their lines, they don't turn you into furniture. Some people don't heed that. They're now wall scrolls. Or a lovely screaming coffee table.
Oh, it didn't scream. It was just alive.
Oh no, they allowed the whole lung functionality to be there so that it could scream.
Cool.
You have to have some after dinner entertainment.
Sometimes they make sure that you can't get the airflow, so it's alive and tries to scream, but it cannot. It really depends on the individual vindictiveness of the Chemise in question and their tolerance for that wailing. However, there is a certain measure of authority, all the Chemise pay heed to the Primogen, because the Primogen is their voice in the court. So if the Primogen tells you to do something, tells you to be somewhere, you usually are, because the Primogen can also make your life very, very difficult, and the Primogen is the one most directly responsible for doling out territory for Chemise to call home. Ostensibly, it's the prince, but when it comes to carving up what might be Chemise territory, it falls ultimate final words to the Primogen. But for the past several years, there's been a weird energy among the Chemise. You'll move into various havens and meeting halls, and you'll see more of them showing up to Elysium than normal. You'll see more of them congregating, speaking quietly. A few of them have even walked by you, giving the odd conspiratorial nod. But you're not quite sure why. It feels like there's something that's been going on among the Chemise community, but you didn't seem to get the memo. And so your adventure starts here, in what would be one of the last Elysiums before everything starts hitting the fan. Court has been adjourned. Minor squabbles have been handled. One major squabble handled with execution by one who was deemed traitor to the city. And you find yourself surrounded by kindred of all shapes and sizes. At this moment in time, what would you like to do, Eleanor Tanis of Clan Chemise?
So Eleanor is probably looking around. She's got like these kind of golden claws on her right hand, just kind of clicking them together as she's taking everything in, and just trying to look like she doesn't really care, but also knowing there's something going on, and she's trying to figure out who best to speak to get a little friendly gossip.
Okay. Well, in that case, make me a. Let's see, what would this be? Call this a wits streetwise check in order to read the room to see who might be appropriate to spilling beans to you.
1 success.
Okay. With 1 success, you don't immediately see anyone who you would go, I know this person is someone I can trust and is a solid source of information. But you do take notice of, obviously, since the prince is a Nosferatu, there have been more and more Nosferatu present in court and Elysium in general, much to the chagrin of several high clans. And the staggering lack of Ventru, for the most part, since that one bloodline was all but wiped out. The sheriff herself, belonging to a separate bloodline, and therefore was exempted because she was clearly not a traitor. And you know the Nos have their ears to the ground, so they are options to ask. You also know that present here is a notable Toreador who deals very heavily in clientele moving through, in, and out of the city, and controls many establishments, including some clubs you've performed in, who also is aware of many things. So you might be able to get something out of Miss Marlena Schneider if you can get past her security.
Okay. Let's try. let's see. I'm assuming the heartbeat of the court is probably also Nosferatu.
Yes, in this instance, it would be.
Okay. She will. Let's try approaching the heartbeat first. See if maybe they're feeling a little. Their beak's a little loose.
Okay. As you look around, you know what? Actually, at that point, make me a wits alertness check to see if you can find the heartbeat.
Okay.
Oh, it's one of those harpies.
It's a Nas, so
Let's see. The eighth rule of being a kindred: always assume the harpy or Nos is listening. You said wits awareness.
wits awareness, please. Yes.
Oof. 2 successes.
2 successes. As you're looking around, you don't immediately notice the harpy, but you do begin to notice that as the Nosferatu are milling about their own way and perhaps almost to offend the High Clans are spreading themselves out, you notice that there are certain places amongst the throng of kindred that are currently leaving where the Nos aren't, or at least not immediately visible. So it's possible that the city's harpy might be obfuscated in one of those areas and the rest of the Nos are giving them a wide berth because they know.
Okay. Are there any, like, if the Nos are kind of like passing by one of those areas, like kind of maybe stopping for a second longer and like kind of maybe, like a side whisper or something and then continuing on?
With that wits awareness check, let me see. Because you boys are not weak in stealth, that's for sure. But you rolled like shit.
Because they are not a hellhound named Ace.
Or Watts, apparently. So yes. You notice one Nos who is he's gotta be new. He's bad at this. Like you picked him out with no issue, with 0 successes on his stealth check. He rolled 8 bloody dice. He's bad at this. You picked him out of the crowd. You're pretty sure everyone picked his ass out of the crowd.
Oh. She kind of gives a little sad smirk, adjusts like the dark orange fur that she's wearing over her red dress and makes her way over, perfect dark hair, perfectly coiffed like Lady D with a white streak through it, and just, makes it look like she's grabbing a refreshment from that area, but, out of the corner of her mouth says, "Darling, you must get better help."
So you're saying this to the Nosferatu that you caught, or you're saying this
to the air near them, just like kind of giving the new Nosferatu a little like bless your heart smile.
Okay. All right. You get no response from the air that you whispered to.
Well, they're good at their job.
That's fair.
Duh.
She just chuckles a little. She was more trying to see if they would actually talk to her or not with that. If they're not up to talking, she'll partake in a drink. I'm assuming that there's something nearby to nibble on and then go try our Toreador friend.
All right. As you're looking around, you can see that Ms. Schneider is pretty much already out the door with her entourage of security, just sort of going and parting the sea of kindred and ghoul in front to go, Ms. Schneider has someplace to be.
Is
So
that
you can,
normal for her to leave Elysium at this point?
in this instance, probably, because nothing was really there of her concern. She showed up to basically remind people that she is still a member of this court. She still holds some amount of authority. Her presence is required as a pillar of the community, but nothing here had anything to do with her, and it doesn't look like she has any personal business to handle with anyone also present at court. So she's got places to go, things to do, young men to tie up and feed upon.
Busy night.
Marlena has her tastes.
She'll just kind of wave, see if maybe she'll stop and talk a little. But if she just waves back and continues walking, Eleanor will see if she maybe can't possibly find a Sumitse who looks like they might spill the beans of what's going on. Lean on the good old clan loyalty.
What? We'll try the old D100 to see if she notices. All right. For some reason, even Marlena doesn't understand. She feels this urge to just tilt her head as you reach out and give a wave of golden talon, trying to catch attention. Make me call this a charisma etiquette check to see if you can get across that you are not just being polite, but excuse me, I would like to have a word with you, but I can't get through the throng right now.
Yeah. One success.
Okay. She just sort of casually waves back as she turns forward and continues walking along. Clearly better places to be. You just caught out of the corner of her eye.
It's always good to, let a manager know you're still around and available if they ever need entertainment.
Yep. The room's about cleared out at this point, and it looks like most of the Shemise have already vacated the premises. There are a few who are scourges that are currently speaking with some other Nosferatu and Bruja scourges and are gathered around the sheriff at the moment, as the sheriff is silently projecting them directions, because as you know, before she was embraced, her tongue had been cut out of her mouth, so she physically cannot speak. Yes, we covered that last week.
I believe you.
I saw the look of confusion. It's like, nope.
No, it's not that. It's that, especially now that we have a Shemisi in the crew, why does she still... And the Shemisi are part of the Camarilla, if grudgingly, why does she still not have a tongue?
Personal choice. She's not allowed it to be a handicap for her.
Alright.
Plus, she's also had it... It's also been this way so long, it would almost feel weird to have a tongue back. You could ask her. But yeah, you see a couple of scourges present over there, but it looks like most of the other older, higher-ranking Shemise all left in the wake of the Primogen.
Okay. Okay. She will just kind of wait by the door, wait for one of the scourge to come by, and see if she can't pick one off politely. Okay.
They speak for another, well, the scourges speak for another 5 or 10 minutes or so. The sheriff seems to just dictate with hand and head gesture, and by this point, most of the scourges are served under so long they're like, "Yes, ma'am, right away, understood." And they all turn to go about their business. A couple of scourges are heading down your way. You can certainly grab one of them if you wish. You've seen most of them in passing. You don't know if you've ever actually caught any of their names before.
Yeah, she'll probably grab the one that's straggling, like kind of behind the others, and just whichever Samite is gradually behind the best.
Jawohl, Fräulein.
Jawohl, darling. Tell me, do you have a moment?
Yeah, the patrol can wait a minute or two. Is there a problem?
Oh, no, just clan business, darling.
Yeah, right.
She'll kind of go like this and find a more secluded area to talk. Can't help but notice everybody seems jitterier than the June bug. What's going on?
Not much that I'm aware of. We've handled most of the disputes that rose up this evening. We're just going to do a patrol to make sure there are no hunters or anything loose in the city this evening. And then going home to rest for the day. Or I do it all again. Nightly grind.
Well, all right. Just wanted to see what was going on, you know.
I stay out of the business of most of the older kindred that do all of their political machinations. I actually like being a scourge. It's simple, clean, efficient, and it gives me a good opportunity to try out these. And he lifts his hand, and your claws, I assume, have some measure of actual offensive capability, but are mostly decorative.
Yeah.
His hands are not. his hands are well. One of his hands is the sort of hand that Freddy Krueger wishes he had. As his left hand is actually more or less useless as a hand, and is actually just 5 serrated blades with pointed tips that just all bend where there should be a knuckle. And the other one is a much more functional hand, but the fingernails have long since been replaced with some bestial talon that you don't recognize, but you're quite certain would effectively tear open the throat of most things it raked across. But you imagine that those were kept that way because he still needs to fill out paperwork.
Paperwork is important. She just kind of, oh, darling, those are magnificent. Haven't tried that on myself. Do have to look pretty upstage.
I've heard. I've never caught a show myself.
Do come by. I'm gonna be at the Kitty Cat later this week. Should be fun.
I'll see if there's a spot open, but we'll see what happens. No, it's been a mess trying to clean up the city and keep things organized after human wars. There's nothing like them. Certainly, hopefully, nothing like that again.
They call us beasts, but my goodness, do they have an appetite for destruction?
Oh, I was chasing some Sabataline gangrel out there by a nighttime frontline raid at one point. I saw what one of their horrible concoctions, the mustard gas, did. Oh, nightmarish.
That's saying something given what we do, darling.
Oh. We do this by choice, and we continue afterwards. The way those men died, oh, no honor in that.
Fair point. Well, do keep yourself safe out there, sugar. Ciao.
Guten Abend, Fräulein. And he heads off into the evening himself.
All right. Well, information gathering didn't go as well as expected, but it's also Elysium. Nobody's going to spill a lot of secrets.
After he steps out of the room you've stepped into, before you reach the door to exit yourself, the door seems to close of its own accord. Fräulein, Fräulein, Fräulein. You really must learn to be less obvious if you're trying to get information. The voice seems to echo from everywhere in the room around you.
Well, I'm not as talented in some areas as y'all are. It does help when nobody thinks you're there.
True, I suppose. So, what is it you're really after?
Me? I'm just trying to see what's got everybody jumpier than a June bug.
Whispers round. The Primogen and some of his acolytes. They have allowed into their strongholds acquaintances from ages past. Some not seen in the city for a century or more. These folk, they are unusual, even by Shemise standards. No offense intended.
Oh, none taken.
But due to the rules of hospitality, they've been sequestered away and kept safe in the strongholds of the Shemise Old. And they've started to make something of a stir.
Huh. Well, suppose that could be trouble for some of us, sounds like.
A bit of advice. If you aren't part of what the clan has going, leaving Vienna sooner rather than later might be advisable. I imagine things will get worse before they get better.
Well, I don't have much love for my clan, but I do love a good bit of friendly advice.
And I recommend you be careful on the way home. There have been whispers in the shadows. They make me nervous.
Well, I'll be sure to keep my eye out, and you stay safe as well, darling.
Do take care. And the door opens up shortly after.
All right. She's gonna walk out, but kind of casually keep her head on a swivel. Just, general lady walking alone at night kind of deal. Not like, super obvious.
All right, then. Then do me a favor and make me a wits alertness check. Might I recommend pulling a +1 from the pool based on how your last couple of rolls have gone?
Yeah, I'm gonna steal a +1 just to be on the safe side.
Okay.
One, two
This is
successes.
when we get, like, okay, I was gonna say this is the time we get 9 successes. No, still 2. Okay. But yeah, you notice nothing as you continue on your walk home. Do you stop to feed at all before heading home?
She's at hunger 1 right now, so and she probably like sipped a little during Elysium, so not really. She just get straight home.
Okay. So you manage to get yourself back to your haven, sequestered away for day sleep, and are left to decide what happens going forward. You stir the next evening to the sound of banging on your door.
All right. Hold your horses. She'll take a plush widow's robe and wrap it around herself and go to open the door.
When you open the door, you are greeted by several ghouls of the prince's court.
Hello.
Guten Abend, Fraulein. We do apologize for being scattered out and grabbing you this early in the evening, but uh, things happened during the day, and it is imperative that all kindred regather at Elysium immediately.
All right, give me a minute. Come in, make yourselves at home. She put on like a kind of Peggy Carter-esque sort of skirt and top, fluff her hair a little, put her
You don't need to arouse me anymore. It's Peggy Carter. That's all I needed to picture in my head.
put the decorative claws on and was like, all right, let's go.
When they step inside as you're getting dressed, they close the door behind them, and you can see that both of them are armed.
I take it a bit of nastiness happened in the night.
Jawohl.
It's the things with dragons, always wanting more shiny things, never content with what they got.
Well, you may find this to be concerning then, as they escort you out once you're ready. And you watch as several ghouls and kindred and scourges are currently bringing everyone back into Elysium and gathered together before the and all ceremony is cut out of this. This is jumped straight in. The prince steps forward, her jagged teeth sticking out into her equal parts, overbite and underbite, and she comes up and she greets them all. Most of you gathered here today have not heard a word of what happened. Some of you were woken by your ghouls to the news before my own agents reached out to you to bring you here for safety's sake. Some of you looking around this room might notice that the population is a bit thinner than it was yesterday.
She kind of stiffens at that when she realizes she's probably one of the few Samitse here.
2 Shemise heavens were set alight last night. Or yesterday, rather. Along with 2 Toreador havens and a Tremere haven. Someone has declared war on the kindred of this city. As of this moment, I am declaring martial law for the kindred until the agents responsible for this have been apprehended. All of you have been brought here momentarily for your safety's sake, and for all of you to provide whatever information you can to the scourges, in the event you saw anything suspicious, that this information might be used to find the individuals responsible for this. All preliminary evidence seems to suggest that this was done by a group of hunters, organized and malicious. 5 havens breached in one day is no laughing matter. You will all be escorted back, and an active request is being made for those of you with ghouls to allow them into the search parameters in order to ensure greater security during the day, as our paid officials in the government are apparently insufficient at this time until we have found the threat responsible. I appreciate that you have changed your name to Mod Ferratu. I just got that notification from Discord. There is obviously a stir that forms up about this. And as you're looking around, you do notice that there are fewer Shemise. If you make a successful enough... well, this would really probably be Wits Awareness. You know what? Call this one Wits Politics. And you'll be able to tell what the apparent standing in court was of those who were attacked, because they would obviously be the ones not present.
Okay, that's a lot of dice. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes.
There we go. With 5 successes on your wits politics check, it looks like it was a couple of younger Shamisei who didn't make it. Not young like 10th generation or 11th generation, but more like 9th, like those that might have been princes in another city, but they're rather attached to their homes here, their properties, their, well, theirs. But you, based on what you're looking around, you notice an absence of at least 4 Shamisei that you would regularly see at court, which were 2 of which were 9th generation, 1 was 10th, and 1 was 11th.
Okay.
As for the others, you notice there are faces missing, but you couldn't have picked out what their generation was from a hat. You only know the Shamisei because they tend to run through bloodline and introductions the same way the Ventru do. Very proud of that.
Yeah. But so the Primogen and the other Shamisei are there.
Yes, the Primogen has taken his place alongside all of the other Primogens by the prince.
Okay.
I mean, what are you doing? Are you going to try reading the room? Are you going to...
She's reading the room because this feels... Would she have known about the security of the other havens, like how well guarded they were and such?
The older kindred, especially Shamisei, vary because many of them still had vase.
Yeah.
From times long since past.
Yeah.
Younger kindred, less in the way of vase, or at least like proper, horrific 30, 40 people stitched together vase. But, they have, a couple ghouls that are, armed with heavier implements where there should be hands for security purposes.
Right.
Maybe did something to augment their eyes, replace them with cat's eyes or something.
Okay.
If you're trying to read the room, by all means, make me a composure insight check.
Sure.
As you're trying to keep a level head while reading everyone else.
Composure and insight. Okay. 2 successes.
Okay. As your eyes are moving about the room, you're looking at it. There are plenty of people who are looking concerned. There are plenty of people who are looking a little less concerned. Oh, it's a couple hunters. They didn't have their security up. More for us, yeah.
Who even cares about the Tremere in this city?
Yeah, the Tremere are
in
certainly
Vienna.
the Tremere are certainly very audible about this. And the Tremere Primogen is spitting fire about this being handled. But the Shamisei Primogen seems oddly stoic. Possibly because it was none of his shit that was touched.
Okay, but not like she can't get a read on like if, kinky shit is going on with him. He's just like, basically.
He's looking rather stonework, rather unreadable.
Okay.
Eventually, a couple of scourges come up and start asking you information. The first one is a Shamisei, and then eventually comes a Bruja, and then another Nosferatu. All of them asking you the same questions, but just in case there was something missed or something remembered or looking for holes in the story.
Yeah, the usual one, though.
They're doing this with everyone. Some are being escorted to private rooms, either for one reason or another. In at least a third of those cases, it's because they're whining really fucking loudly and other people are just trying to do their goddamn jobs. Pissy ass Toreadors, Jesus fuck.
Would she know the Tremere like who was like lost from the Tremere, or is it just like at that point kind of outside clan?
How much time did you spend interacting with the Tremere?
She's got a pretty good occult. She's got a 2 in occult, so probably she would know maybe 1 or 2.
Make me a charisma occult check to see
Okay.
how much time you spent interacting with the Tremere.
Tremere, the ultimate vampires.
Ooh. All right, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes.
All right, with 5 successes, you've spent so you are counting tens as 2, correct?
I only had 1 10. Oh, so that would be 6 successes then.
You're
Yep.
a vampire magnet.
Your
It's the theater kid.
your natural charisma has caught the attention of a few Tremere whose humanity is a bit higher than their generation, shall we say. And so while they have remained relatively tight-lipped on Tremere-ness, because there are various compulsions and seals and commands that keep them from actively spilling most of this stuff, outside of very specific restrictions, and none of them want their heads to explode, you have maintained fairly cordial relationships with a few younger ones. You managed to see most of the ones you're familiar with, but you notice that at least a handful of their direct superiors are noticeably absent from this meeting. If you had to take a stab based on what little you could glean off of them on how they acted in terms of how old a kindred this could possibly be, you're guessing that the Tremere that theoretically are vanished at this point are around 10th, maybe 9th generation.
Okay, so not old, but old enough to be a bit of a threat if push came to shove.
About the same generation as the Shemise that got bit. Again, around that 9-10, though you noticed a few more, like 11 generation Shemise are not present.
Okay. She doesn't like this one bit. She's like trying to it just seems too convenient for hunters to get 1 maybe, but 5 in a night seems a little, there's something going on, is what she's feeling.
Oh yes.
Or they're really good hunters, which is worse.
That's also, she's also not discounting that, but it seems the ones that were taken out, could she roll like a manipulations and politics to kind of like maybe suss out if this was more an inside job?
Absolutely. I encourage that heavily.
Okay. 2, 3. And then I need 3 for politics, 1 hunger die. All right, dice pool of 6. Don't fail me. Okay, 3 successes.
Okay. If this was an inside job or an attempt at political maneuvering or thinning of a rival clan, it's a little weird to target those 3 clans and to target all 3 of them at the same time seems a bit odd, unless multiple people were running a similar plot at the same time, which isn't impossible, but is highly unlikely. Unless, again, several clans or several individuals in clans who bore a grudge against these individual kindred had arranged this as a cooperative conspiracy.
Okay. I don't think she's gonna learn much else from here, and they're questioning everybody. So if she starts questioning, it's gonna look weird. She's gonna see if she can't maybe go back to her apartment. See if she can't leave or if she's stuck here while they're still questioning everybody.
It takes a couple hours before they start letting people leave.
Okay.
But you are eventually allowed to vacate the premises and return home. Most people are escorted by either their own ghouls or the prince's ghouls or some scourges to their home havens, and are recommended to stick to only their safest hunting areas for the time being, to avoid going out alone if possible. And they're thinking of relaxing restrictions on getting scourges in, because this is going to require more manpower.
Okay.
You are being escorted home by one ghoul, because now that everyone was leaving en masse rather than being brought in waves, more people needed to be divided up.
Yeah.
And you are you're walking on your way home, and thus far everything seems. Actually, you know what? Make me another wits awareness check to see what you notice.
Okay, that's not terrible. 3 successes. It's better than my last one.
As you're walking along, you get this strange sort of chill that runs through you. It feels like you're being watched, but as you turn around, you see people just milling about their business. The ghoul seems overly alert, constantly looking left and right, but it doesn't seem like anyone's paying an overt amount of attention to you.
Okay. Darling, I just remembered, given everything, we should probably vary our route. Let's duck down this shortcut over here, and she'll, kind of teeter off into an alley.
Yeah, very well.
Just see if the feeling of like somebody following is still, with her down the alley.
All right. One. All right. Sucks to be that guy.
Great.
As you walk into the shadowed alley, it feels a little colder all of a sudden. And while in the course of pretending to be among the living and very subtly doing the things that living people would do, you notice that when you do breathe out, there is a sudden puff of mist, which is strange because it's June.
Okay. Can let's see, doing that, she's gonna sigh and be like, I just got these fitted too. And she is going to use Vistitude to change her hands into claws to give her equivalent of a +2 weapon.
Okay.
Which is, I need to do a browse check to see if I get hungrier. Nope, thank goodness. I need to do resolve plus Protarian. So what's my resolve? I have it. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. That is 2 10s, so that's 4. 4, 5, 6, 7 successes on my check, so pretty easily becomes the decorative gold just breaks apart and flesh claws like Lady D.
Alrighty. You sprout your claws, The ghoul is reaching for their gun before a wall of shadow rises up and cuts you off from the ghoul in question. Hold and calm yourself, Fraulein. As a figure steps out of the shadows that are cast upon the wall. They just move out from the shadow in front of you.
That's some Tremere bullshit. Oh, that too.
Sombra, thank you kindly. Don't confuse me for those usurping clowns.
I do apologize, although you could have just politely asked to talk.
Ein Moment bitte. You hear a muffled noise from behind you. Just had to make sure that was taken care of first.
Like that.
We've been following you, making sure that you are not part of the conspiracy. Which is nice to know. Because otherwise, this could have been very... And his voice is cut off as what looks like a bone spear rips through the front of his chest. And then you realize it's at the end of the spear is what looks like the deformed bones of a hand with about a dozen fingers attached to it, all skeletal in nature, bound by tendon and sinew, which then flares out, slams against him as he is dragged back out of the alley.
Oh, she's booking it.
You book it straight over the unconscious remains of the ghoul. I don't know if you bother to check, but he is very much still alive. But you, I assume, just run.
She kind of looks down, thinks about it. Political brain is like, I leave him here. It looks like I'm part of it. She kind of starts like smacking him, like, get up.
You can audibly hear the sound of flesh tearing and bones popping from their place.
Never mind running.
You take off running down the street. Running. You make it to your home. You run up the stairs. You run inside and you slam your door.
She's still got her hand. She's panting. She, takes a moment, wills her hand back to normal. She's going to grab a suitcase and starts throwing things in it. Pulls a gun out of a drawer, tucks it in her waistband, just keeps throwing everything of value in the suitcase.
When you turn to grab your suitcase, you see a figure sitting in a chair and just sort of turns to you in a maroon suit with black pinstripes, bright blonde hair slicked all the way black, and these luminescent green eyes staring back at you. The predictions were right. You are quick and fun.
Do I know this person?
You have no idea who this is. You've never seen them before. Their accent is decidedly not Austrian.
Well, darling, I do have a train to catch, so if you don't mind.
Oh, but I do mind. You see, there's a part you still need to play, dearie. A very, very important part. All the pieces need to fit in the puzzle. And then in the span of a blink, he's from the chair. It's now rattled to the floor. He's in front of you, one arm pressed against the wall, leaning in close. Sweet, sweet child. We're about to have so much fun.
You know what? Fuck it, she's gonna try and shoot him.
Do it. please roll for me your composure plus firearms.
It's not terrible. It's not great, but it's not terrible.
To be fair, he is not anticipating you to shoot him at this point, so he actually doesn't get a defense.
1 success.
1 success is all you needed. What is the firearm you are using in question?
Just a little, oh gosh, what are they? They're German. I can't remember, but they're like kind of, they go like that, and then they're narrow and then kind of bulky in the hand. It's a German handgun, basically.
Revolver? Or?
No.
It's not a revolver. It was very popular at the end of World War I, going into
a Luger? No.
Yes.
I knew words.
A Luger would qualify as a medium gunshot. So that would be a +3 damage value, so 4, but firearms are bludgeoning, so that's half to 2. So you shoot him. He's a little surprised by this. And your gunshot does not go unnoticed as you start hearing voices from above and below in your apartment building begin going, what was that? Gunshot? Oh, no. My God. Call the police. Bullets. Really? You'd have been better off stabbing me in the heart with the claws.
Didn't think I had time. Now move.
At this point, I'm going to need you to make me a check here. I just need to double check what you actually have to roll against this, because I so very rarely make use of this.
Oh, yay. It's probably dominate.
I need you to please make me an intelligence resolve check.
Okay. Where's my resolve? Okay.
No, he's fed this evening, so is
okay. Motherfuckers. You assholes. 0 successes with a failure on the hunger die. Which I can't remember is like a bestial failure or not.
You got a 1 on the hunger die?
It was a 4.
Okay, no, it's only a 1 when the bestial failures are initiated. 1 on hunger die.
I couldn't remember.
I was gonna say this whole thing changes drastically if you just rolled a 1 on your hunger die and failed the check.
No, she just straight up fails.
All right. His irises seem to glow, and you find yourself growing very, very weak in the knee, starting to go slack against the wall, and things start to go a little fuzzy around you. Things become harder to hear. Your senses are slowly coming over, and you become vaguely aware of another voice. You can't quite make out what they're saying, but they don't seem very happy with the person who's currently pinning you up in an inappropriate fashion.
Oh, that kind of. All right.
There is a hazy bit of a scuffle, and you are able to stagger away in your haze before you eventually pass out in the street. When you awaken later, it is in a Nosferatu haven, and you are being tended to by several Nosferatu scourges.
Ah, boys. Who's back the wine?
I know it's a little difficult to tell with us Nosferatu, Fraulein, but I didn't think I was that flat that I'd be mistaken.
Blinks, looks down. My mistake, sugar. It's been a day.
More than that. We've been down here trying to figure out what's been wrong with you for the better part of a month.
I'm sorry. Did you say a month?
Fraulein, things have happened. Things have gotten bad. And this is now where we cut to the present, where you're all gathered and having your conversation with the prince. As at this point, a few other Nosferatu return, along with their face, Eleanor Tanis, who has been working as part of the Viennese underground against the Bali incursion for the better part of a year. After having experienced firsthand what a terrible effect and incomplete use of their dominate, persuade, mind writing can have when no direction was given. And in the intervening time, you did discover that the one who intervened had been another Chemise of younger generation who had seen you running panicked and had intervened to his final death. But yes, you are brought in. You had just returned from your own excursion of attempting to figure out where might be best to strike back at your at these uppity little invaders, when you see three faces that are decidedly not who you would expect to see down here. And you all see someone who doesn't look like a Nos walking in with a squad of 3 Nos.
Yeah.
Does she still have the gold claws? Because
They're more so. If it's been a year, she's probably looking more like kind of more going for that Rick O'Connell look, like the dark kind of adventurer pants with like the kind of semi-opened button-up shirt. She's got more silver kind of actual talon-looking claws instead of more like straight this time around. And she's like, "Are we throwing a party?"
Nine, Frau Tanis. These are some allies come to help us with our little problem. This is the child that Watts has not been able to shut up about since he came here to assist me with this. You've dealt with Watts a couple of times. He's an especially friendly Nos who came in from Boston. He's a surprisingly charismatic Nos. He's also really goddamn friendly. Like, it's unsettling.
He has the gregarious flaw from the Slua book.
Put a Toreador to shame. Got it.
The face works to a detriment, but so long as you're willing to deal with it's fine.
So she'll look over at everyone and is like, "Oh, you're the chat. Oh, aren't you the cutest little thing?" And she kind of pinches their cheek.
I kind of like swat your hand away. Okay.
You did not tell me they were this cute.
Riza's just gonna start laughing because she needs to.
She's a Samitsi. Little, like, deformed things are cute to her.
Honestly, what the fuck was mostly at Watts, specifically. Just like, you were talking about me?
When the embrace happened, I couldn't believe. Looked just like my sire, I swear. But yes, I wanted to get back to you. I wanted this solved. I wasn't expecting to be here fighting in the trenches against a war of deranged cultists with green flame, trying to take over the goddamn city, and now, as you've told us, the fucking world, and set it ablaze. Which is the first you're hearing of this.
Oh, they want to burn it down all the way up to the gates of heaven.
Oh, so that's the whole world. You know, I would have assumed Vienna would have been fine, but apparently not.
Well, why stop with one country when you can burn all of Europe now? Almost happened already some decade ago.
right, introductions. I am being so rude. I do apologize. Eleanor Tannis, Charmed. Oh, you probably don't. Here we go. Other hand.
Riza will reach out with the left hand. Sweetie, the party we just left, we got shot at a whole bunch, so as long as you ain't coming out shooting at us, I'd say it's very polite. Is that just a Viennese thing? Just shooting strangers up? Or is it because we're American? Well, we're American. I don't think Mr. Giles. I'm not sure where Giles is from. Giles, are you American? He's just good with accents.
No, I'm American.
Oh, all right.
I mean,
Anyway.
I'm myself an American.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I did have to shoot one of these Balis in the stomach the first time we met, but, you know.
Payback. I like you already.
Did he go down? Did he stay down?
It distracted him long enough not to put me under mind control.
Yeah, when Vern mentions the payback starting to like you already, this is when you notice that Vern has a big old fuck off sword strapped to his back.
That's rather adorable. You know, I could, and she gestures, kind of does a little wiggle. If you want, and points to your hand or their hand.
Oh, so this is
Yes.
This is the last actual Shamisi in the city.
So,
That's an option.
Yes. You
The
met
last
the surgeon?
She is the last Shamise to have not entered into a pact with the Bali, apparently, which is something they set in motion ages ago.
So yes, the last real Shamisi.
That's because you're American, isn't it?
That, and you know, after spending so many years under the boot of a dragon, I just didn't quite want to go along with the rest of them.
So they did offer?
Oh no, they didn't, but still, I would have told them no. Now, you little darling cutie, come here and let me see your hands.
They're just like giving me scary claws.
John, what?
Now, how big are we thinking? Are we thinking 6 inches or fuck off?
Oh, I
want to claw people's eyes out.
Fuck off. Okay.
John,
can I willingly do Viscitude on another vampire?
Absolutely, you can.
Yes.
John, what position did these? What are they called? The surgeon back in Boston?
Surgeon didn't have an express position. Surgeon was just what they were known as because they were the one who, you know, could fix things like, oh, this kindred suddenly needs to disappear from society, but they can't because they're Toreador and they will literally die if they're not in a social setting. Hold on, I'm going to change your skin tone. I'm going to change your eyes. I'm going to change this. I'm going to change that.
Or, you know, a Nosferatu got dropped with magic bullets and they need emergency surgery.
Yeah, or that.
Which is what happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let me just double check vicissitude here. Where are you? Vicissitude. Here we go. Protean level 2. All right. Roll resolve plus Protean. Every success on the roll allows a single vicissitude change to be made to the user. Though the total number of changes cannot exceed the user's Protean rating, no matter the number of applications or successes, each change causes the loss of a single physical attribute die of the user, as the body mass must come from somewhere. No attribute can be taken below 1. Each use of the power takes 1 full turn to perform. Potential vicissitude uses are redistribution, weapons, once per subject only, armor, appearance, and other cosmetic changes. Changes can be mended as aggravated damage, though I don't think that's what you're aiming for. Oh, I'm sorry. Vicissitude only works on yourself. Fleshcrafting is the one that works on others. Do you have up to Fleshcrafting yet?
I do. I spent some of my 35 XP to get a level 3 in Protean.
Right. Then yes. And if If Vern resists, they would have to roll a stamina resolve check. Otherwise, you can do as you can work it as vicissitude.
Okay, let me see how many dice I need to roll. Let's see, resolve.
Resolve plus Protean. And 1 rouse check, please.
Okay, rouse check. I do not get hungrier.
Yay.
I don't feel the need to go nom nom.
Do you wish to do this in front of everyone, or do you wish to pull Vern into another room as you peel back the flesh, rearrange the bones, and extend the claws?
What did you say your name was again, darling?
I'm Vern.
Vern, honey, now I'm gonna have to become rather intimate with your bits. Do you want this in front of everybody, or do you want to go in a room?
I mean, I don't really care. Go into a room, I suppose.
Please, other room. Other room, please. I'm
What?
a knock,
You
but
squeamish?
still, I don't need this.
Okay, so she'll, take Vern by the hand and guide them into another room. And all right, so
Charisse is gonna go. Riza's gonna go with them, unless someone objects.
We just want to
Wow,
watch Fascinated, don't we?
The ancient crone Nosferatu lady, the Baba Yaga herself, is like, no, I don't want to watch Fleshcrafting.
Look, this I can't help. That is a choice. It's different when I'm carving someone else's throat out and it's, violence for feeding or self-defense. It's unnatural. And this is coming from my face.
it's just a bit of dress up.
I'm Nos, darling. We don't dress up.
Shame. You look like such a fall.
Please, just do your business so we can get back to claiming how I get back my city.
Autumn Court, for sure. Actually, so the reason Reese is actually going with them is because she wants to scry the soul on Ms. Eleanor.
Awesome.
I don't know what that means.
You don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
So,
Right.
scry the soul.
Just,
under
if she'd been
Austin.
anything other than a Shemisi, and it's like,
But 3 successes on Fleshcrafting, so
Okay.
if they're not resisting, I apologize.
Yep,
Oh,
they're not
Vern
resisting.
uses he, they, so.
Oh, they okay.
Well,
So you can alter up to 3 aspects of them with their permission, though weapons can only be once per user.
So I can do about 3 little things to you. I can make you have the big fuck off claws, or we can give you a little sharper chin if you want, or what's you thinking?
Laws.
All right then, let me see your hands.
So while you're having this conversation, Charisse, I need you to roll me a rouse check and then roll me an intelligence auspex check. And Eleanor, I need you to roll me composure subterfuge, please.
Oh God, I don't think I'm very good at those.
That's
no.
okay. That just means that it's more successful for Charisse.
okay.
2 successes.
Okay, that is, the rouse check I passed. And
Uh-huh.
now I roll int plus auspex?
Indeed.
Oh, wait. That was the wrong one. Oh, okay, versus. Alright.
So while this is going on, she's just chittering and making small talk, and so do tell me, what Watt's like as a sire? He just seems so wonderful and kind and surprising. I mistook him for a Tremere who had a horrible accident, or not Tremere, the Toreador who had a horrible accident for a bit.
Oh, he doesn't whine nearly enough to be a Tremere.
I'd love to tell you what he's like as a sire, but, he did that for me for about 3 days before fucking off to come here, so.
Jim, just a heads up that since Riza,
Your charges have gone into the other room and you were following?
yeah, I
Yeah.
gotta follow. Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
it's fine.
I kind of had a feeling you were at least standing outside the door listening for anything that sounded vaguely like, no, don't touch me there.
No, I'm going in there as well
Mhm.
because I actually want to use sense the beast.
Okay.
y'all are so suspicious of somebody just coming up to your
Look.
friend and being like, let me give you a big fuck off claws.
Look, you weren't there in Paris. You did not see
this
I
is
what
wasn't.
out of
I'm
character.
still
This is
trusting.
Ben. This is Ben just being
We
like,
almost killed us.
Since you and Riza are both using abilities that use composure subterfuge as the opposing role, we'll wrap this up and then go to break. We'll just use the 2 there. So I need you to then roll me resolve animalism, please.
Okay, do 1s cancel out successes in this version?
No.
No, okay. Then I got 4 successes, including a 10.
Okay, that means that you can learn 2 bits of information as you're reading the aura of the individual you're looking at, because that is the difference of your opposed checks.
Okay, let me double check the list of questions.
So while this is going on, you see Eleanor just kind of like, she takes her index finger and then very lightly with the claw, just like kind of uses it, and then uses her other hand to just slowly start to like, kind of like what you do with pottery, like run it along and start shaping things. All the while just pleasant as can be and just, chitter chattering away.
Okay, one of the specific checklist on Scry the Soul is whether the subject is under the influence of blood sorcery or other magic. Basically, she wants to see if if she's either lying about being a normal Shamisi or under Bali control, consciously or unconsciously.
Okay.
Because she's already seen that happen to Vern a little bit, though Vern Diablerized one, so that was different, but...
Yeah, and I got 4 successes on my Sense the Beast.
Meanwhile, Riza's just watching, like, with interest, also honest interest, because she wants to see what this looks like.
Alright, so in the answer to Sense the Beast, there is no hostility here, or at least as far as I can tell, Eleanor poses no hostility to them. Though at the mention maybe of Bali and them separating Watts from his child, and there might be spikes of hostility there, but it's in response to the Bali and them being bastards. The hostility is not directed at anyone, or correct me if I'm wrong there.
There's a teeny bit of hostility at Watts, but that's because he abandoned Vern, and it's like, even though her sire was a right dick, he at least was there to like guide her through, the first few nights of the hunger and teaching her what everything was.
Yeah.
And
How
abandoning your child is,
this precious
bad.
baby.
This precious baby who
Poor
she's
baby.
mutilating.
This precious baby who's now a really fucked up person.
Precious baby who's already Diablerized once this week.
And drained a guy to death.
Yeah, that happened too.
That happened the day before the Diablery.
But I'm not telling you about that. I'm telling you about that last time I got Fleshcrafted when I almost died because some weirdo shot me and I went down immediately.
Magic bullets.
The last time an NPC rolled well.
In episode 1.
I was gonna say, for mine with the 3 successes, would each hand be 1 point, or would the hands together count as 1?
I would say the hands together count as 1.
Okay, so up to Vern if he wants both hands.
Both hands.
Can
Only
Vern
claw.
will he
Both
still
hands
be able
claws.
to hold the claymore like that?
It depends on how the claws are shaped.
So what she would be doing is she would leave the palm and the first part of the finger so he could still grip and like wrap around, but like from here out are just like these more sort of a cross between like a saber-toothed tiger and like kind of very long, almost katana-like. So they kind of have a bit of a curve to the edge of them. So she's just like, you see her just slowly like kind of extending each one out, and then at the very end kind of giving him this like deadly hook. So that way it's not just slicing, but hooking in and then...
And in response to the first aspect of Scry the Soul, they do not appear to be under any sort of blood magic, blood bonding, or other compulsion.
Okay, so no dominate.
There is the mark of a severe dominate attempt. It looks like the sort of marking that would be left from a high level deep dominate, the sort of thing that almost rewrites a person, but it doesn't look like it was finished. But that mark still sort of stays in the aura when you look for it. So someone attempted to do something but never got to finish.
Okay. Okay, and I would happily just use my second question of, is there any other kind of magic in there that doesn't make any fucking sense? It's nothing personal, it's just look at what we've been doing. No, the fleshcraft is the normal shit.
To my knowledge, Eleanor has not indulged in any vicissitude any time in the last century.
Oh no, that's normal.
Not vicissitude, I mean diablerie. Any diablerie in the last century.
No diablerie.
The only thing she has outside of the Shemisi stuff is awe, but I don't know if that would show up.
I thought awe is Shemisi stuff.
Awe is presence.
Yeah, don't Shemisi
get dominate.
Oh. Okay. I haven't played this game in a while.
Yeah.
It's been like 2 editions.
Shemisi get animalism, dominate, and protean.
Okay, I don't know what I was remembering. Anyway. Alright, so yeah, so Riza's just sort of like watching the show. Just like, huh. Because it's not often... The Shemisi are campires sometimes, but they don't often let people watch them work.
Yeah.
But
there are happy vampires in my world. Not all of them, but there are more than typical World of Darkness
and
games.
Weirdly enough, Charisse is in the theater seat going like, is that... what? So she's
At
not
this
even
point,
discussing...
she's used to not having privacy because she lives with a bunch of Nosferatu, so she's always assuming there's somebody around, and she's just babbling while she's doing this. So, okay, don't move. I need to just make sure this is sharp enough. But where y'all from again? You said States?
We came here from Boston because we did a favor for Prince King, and then we had another coterie member who went home, and we were actually coming to Vienna to possibly research a family tree, but it sounds like a family tree might have gotten burnt down. So, but while we were in Paris, we uncovered the Green Flame gunpowder plot, and the Parisian prince's court was actually bombed with sunlight, and they were pretending to be hunters, and they killed a bunch of kindred, including 7 Malkavians, and then replaced them with people who looked exactly like them. So, yes.
Suddenly that makes sense.
She's just kind of, she like taps a finished claw. It's really not, anyways, I could tell you how it works, but
yeah.
Suffice to say, it's possible.
I mean, the Bali, a lot of the Bali seem to be ex-members of other clans and bloodlines, so we just need to expect that they have the gamut of everything we can do.
Everything you can do, and I can do this too.
Oh, I hate them. And they all have, like, ungodly amounts of auspics, and it's annoying.
I do believe they
right
eat each other. So, that would be why. But, alright, dear, I think you're done. And she just scooches back.
Laws.
Right. Let's, tink them together. What do you think?
This is good. This is all I've ever wanted.
Do make sure you can hold your little toothpick there.
Pull sword out. Toothpick? Why does everybody keep insulting the size of this sword?
You
funny.
You have seen some of the more horrific Vaz, the war ghouls that some of the older Shemisi have had as imposing security measures. For at least 2 of them, that claymore would be a toothpick.
She's not trying to be rude, it's just...
but then again, those Vaz are composed of nearly 30 bodies apiece.
I mean, at least we're not calling it a letter opener.
I mean, I could try to open a letter with it.
You might find these a little more useful for that.
You're right.
To be fair, the letter opener was mounted on the wall, waiting for one of you to pick it up in the office on the second floor of the mansion, but none of you went up there.
People were shooting at us again.
That one's on Charisse, I think.
What?
On not picking up the letter opener. That's not my fault.
I didn't get to the second floor.
But once it's done, she'll peek her head out. Oh, Principal, we're done. Can we come back out?
Might we go? This is what I have left to work with.
To be fair, I've done a very good job, I might inform you.
Those are horrifying. Please use it to eviscerate many of these bastards that have taken control of my city.
That's
I've
the
always
plan.
fought with... Now then, with whatever allies we're getting here this evening, how about we sit down and figure out how we're going to help take back my city? And at that point, we should probably call it for our 10-minute break.
Yes. Alright. So chat, this is where we take a 10-minute break. And I have a timer for it this time and everything. So, you know, go get yourself a drink. Go make some really good ramen. Well, actually, just found out really good ramen takes like 24 hours to make. So do the final stages of some really good ramen you started yesterday. And we will see you in 10 for more 1920s shenanigans and treasure hunts and Bali bashing. Bye! Bye! Hello, chat.
Hello, chat.
I hope you can hear us. Because it's been that kind of day. But no, we didn't have audio troubles when we started this stream, so yay.
No.
This is Magic Fish Radio. We do tabletop RPGs on Tuesdays and Saturdays. And now let's get on with our GM and the Nos Prince of Vienna having a headache at us.
Just promise me one thing. You're not going to make me run the cheerleader werewolf game when the werewolf book finally releases. I don't want to do that. Please don't make me.
I put them together in my head as a Forsaken pack whose totem spirit is the spirit of spirit, and with the Rahu who's 5 feet tall with blonde curls, and they pyramid hurl her at the monsters.
I know.
I.e. the Lost Sailor Moon episode.
Yes.
I think I have to write this story now.
By all means.
Anyone else want some fuck off clones?
Like some little less long. I tend to throw Molotov cocktails, so don't want them hooking into anything that might end poorly for me.
Come back to get you.
I mean, we could do that. I don't got any glitter or nothing, but we can make it work.
Can we save that for a little bit later, please? And otherwise put in the effort on how I'm going to get the Schweinhund out of my fucking city. I've spent the past several weeks running from safe house to safe house, trying to figure out how to get them to stop murdering other kindred and stop them from doing whatever they want to do. Yes.
Have they tried to awaken or eat any Methuselah in your city? Because that seemed to be part of their quest in Paris. In which they not only blew up the prince's court, but blew up the catacombs down to the secondary catacombs?
Methuselah's being buried under cities are a myth. As she says this, the sheriff is just sort of like...
I'm gonna look straight at the sheriff.
Riza
do I
is
even
just...
need to roll insight for that?
Riza's not hiding anything. She's just like...
Oh, no, I meant with the sheriff.
Oh, yeah. She'll let the sheriff be demure. It's her way. But no.
Why are you... She just sort of leans in and puts her forehead against the prince's forehead.
Everyone's just got too much auspice in Europe. Just everyone has...
It's the old country. They don't got much to do.
I'm sorry, there's how many buried across the nation? And she just starts railing in German, which at this point I think only 2 of you understand.
I mean, have you ever been to London?
So it basically devolves into her going, there's how many buried across Austria? How do you know? What do you mean you were there when they were buried? Wait, there's how many what under my city?
I like this sheriff. She good at her job.
She doesn't look a day
She
over
was
500.
there when they were buried?
I mean, that's getting less and less shocking to me, but yeah, I mean,
yeah.
We had to go
But that would make her 3 times what you just said. At least.
Depends on which one.
I don't think that's the point here. I think the point is we need to stop them from, doing a little grave robbing and a nighttime nibble.
They're not the Sabbat, but they have a similar playbook, which is eat someone stronger than you and get, the magic powers, and then kill everyone else with them. But I mean, yeah, Eleanor, we had to go through London on our way here. Ask us about London later. Whew.
I don't want to think about London.
That one ain't hiding. Anyway, so I take it. Well, Sheriff, have any of those sites that you know of been attacked thus far? That you're aware of? Okay. So it's possible that my little treasure hunt is what they want here. Well, that's the thing. The thing that of having to deal with these Balis in Paris was that you got a sense that, like, they each have their own nonsense game playing, and, like, they're not really talking to each other about what the other hand is doing. So it's possible that there are multiple Bali causing multiple strains of nonsense and getting in each other's way.
Like toddlers playing over the last apple pie.
Yes, and then, like, monologuing for the entire night.
Have you watched Toddlers?
Not in a very long time, but monologuing. Oh my goodness.
How did I forget all that monologuing?
Right. Mr. Giles, you doing okay over there?
Yeah, just getting the whole sick and tired of these Bali going like blah blah blah. I'm going to blow things up, and I'm like, pick a lane and do it. Okay, you're going all over the place. You're screwing yourselves over.
So, one thing I've learned from various occult sources talking about Vienna is that it may exist on a crack in reality. If the Bali want to set fire to the whole planet, this might be a place to start, but that is a bit beyond me.
Would I know anything about that, having lived here for a while and being cozy with the Tremere?
Sure. Make me an intelligence occult check. The check is very high.
All right, well, can't hurt to try. Two successes?
No.
Okay. A crack in... What now?
You have a vague recollection of having a conversation with a Tremere once where he was very, very welcoming and friendly and very... And then, like, 3 days later, you ran into that same Tremere and he had no recollection of that conversation or who you were.
Hypothetical. Just human me. I'm no scientist or, dabble in the blood arts. But would a crack in reality say you have a conversation with someone and then 3 days later they can't tell you hide nor hair or remember anything about it?
Possibly. You might have been in an alternative time stream, or that person, your or their reality is happening in the wrong time order. Hi, I'm a Malkavian. You should take all of what I'm saying with a grain of salt.
I used to hang out with Tremere. It's fine.
Oh, I'm sorry.
They're actually delightful. Good tea company.
The young ones, anyway.
Yeah. She only mostly hung out with the young ones. I'm assuming the older ones probably didn't give her the time of day.
No. Young ones, high humanity, got lost in the music.
Yeah.
Anywho, so before we left Paris, I was personally goaded into coming here because the Bali have my sire hostage. So it would have been much smarter of me to just go home to Boston, where Prince King might also be under attack or assassination, but one of our other coterie members went home to hopefully help with that. But it sounds like there's something under Vienna that they would ransom and goad a pretty well learned occultist to go get down that they couldn't get themselves. And that I'm assuming it's not a Methuselah because why? I mean, I couldn't wake one up if I wanted to, and, like, I'm certainly not going to diablerize someone while they're asleep. That's just rude. One thing we have suspected is, I know a little bit about mages, and I know a little bit about mages that used to live here some time ago. And that they might have left something behind that I'm supposed to look for. In which case, I have not yet figured out how to screw them over and get my sire back at the same time, which would be the ideal outcome. Again, yes, I'm a Malkavian. I know how all this sounds.
Eleanor just kind of gestures to Vernon's fuck off claws. Is like, well, this is what I can do. Is Vernon just in the corner, just tinking their claws, just like?
Have any of the local Tremere survived? I mean, this Vienna's sort of known to be a big deal for them.
Yeah, they pulled themselves back into their chantries, and they have been the dominant force fighting back against the Shemisi and the Bali allies, aside from us. But we've been trying to protect other kindred from falling into their claws, whereas the Tremere have been watching for the Tremere.
As they usually do. Yes, kitty. Alright. So, I strongly doubt it's Tremere thing that they're after, because then they just blow up the Tremere Chantry or whatever. I don't know. It's all a little overwhelming. Alright.
I suppose at this point the real question is do we want to try and go about this nice and slow, or do we want to go about this in a big old balls to the wall yeehaw and just end all this shit tonight? Or maybe tomorrow, because it's getting a little close to dawn now.
That depends. What do we got that's going to be balls to the wall yeehaw, make sure they die?
I think you underestimate just how much alcohol I've gotten my hands on to produce Molotov cocktails.
Oh, I don't doubt that. I'm just saying, do we have something on top of that?
Well, just for some perspective, the current Prince of Paris, the former Malkavian Primogen, in case you didn't hear about that.
I have not, no.
Okay, well, yeah, so that happened. She was part of a massive crusade against the Bali was it 1,000 years ago? 1,500 years ago? And
2015? Okay.
it sounds like they went all out balls to the wall and they didn't get everything. So I'm not saying let's not raise the fields and salt the earth, but that's not necessarily going to stop the problem. Well, it might stop the problem right now, but then they're going to come back.
Like a cockroach.
Yeah. Yep.
Would I, over this like year that I've been with the NOS and working with everything, would I have been able to figure out what the one Bali was trying to say to me when I went under or trying to do, or is that memory just like blocked? As like a
Make this an intelligence awareness. You know what? You're trying to fight the foggy effect that still lingers from the dominated attempt. Make it resolve awareness.
Okay. Worst comes to worst, I asked the Malkavian to look in my head. Okay, that is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 successes.
You've been able to, over the course of the past year, with some help, piece together what was said during the interruption more so than what he was trying to put into your head.
Okay.
It had actually been the Scourge you had pulled aside before, who had seen you run down the street frantically without your ghoul escort. So he had broken off to investigate and was attempting to surreptitiously move about until he heard the gunshot and saw signs of struggle from the window of your unit, at which point he rushed in and you were able to stumble out in the scuffle before he was granted final death.
Okay.
Mostly it had been a case of, the hell are you? What do you think you're doing? This doesn't concern you. Yes, it does. Conflict, yeah. Dust.
Right. Okay.
But you weren't there for the final bits of it, so.
Right. Okay. It's a bit fuzzy, but the night they all started doing their shenanigans, as you would call it, one of them said something about, long story short, they tried to make me a little puppet, said something about having a part to play. I don't know what they were trying to tell me.
Oh, they're really into that kind of hyperbole.
Yeah, well, all the work I've been doing here with everybody, I mostly just got the tail end of it, and another Smeets is saving me, but I don't know. I don't know if there's some way to try and get it out and maybe get a little jumping point of a plan there, but...
The Bali like to talk a big game to me about prophecy and things happening 200 years in the future and blah, 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 blah. I would, barring anything truly ridiculous, I would say they have some kind of augury skills going for them. So yes, they're very much in the hyperbole of, oh, the game, oh, you have a part to play, blah, blah, blah. We just got to Vienna. Thus far, has this war with the Bali been kept off the scopes of the Khan?
As far as we can tell, mostly.
So
a couple of mortals got involved here and there, but it has mostly not been a significant breach in beyond the masquerade.
Because if the Khan were alerted then of terrorist activity, then the city would have been put under lockdown, so I assume that's something they don't want, because they are not known for subtlety. And they couldn't give a shit about any kind of masquerade. So, I don't know, my inclination is still to complete this ridiculous treasure hunt. But we are dealing with people with a decent amount of future sight. So it comes down to... Which is not fun for the Malkavian personality type prone to paranoia. But I also can't just leave my sire in Vienna if there's a chance that he's here being held hostage.
Maybe what we can do is find your little doohickey and propose a trade. Wyatt, or I almost called him Wyatt. He's not Wyatt. Watts. Watts here could get creative with a fireworks display around the area.
I can do that.
We lure him in and propose a trade. The doohickey for your dear friend. And then once we get your dear friend, well, unfortunately, the fireworks went off a little too early.
That is assuming that the Bali are actually going to be true to their word. But I mean, that's all I can figure as well, is do a hostage trade. But honestly, I don't know what the doohickey is yet, or what they're gonna do with it. So giving it to, definitely let's not give them the doohickey, but if we find it, then they can hopefully not get it. I mean, again, I suspect this is mage bullshit, which I know about, but I can't do their magic because obviously you have to be alive to do that kind of magic. But so I don't know if it's something else that mages were hiding or what. I've had way too much time to think of this with two brains, and like you don't even know. So we have.
Do you think I was going to say, do you think you would be able to meet them without threat of hostility if they want you to look for something?
I would suspect that they're going to leave us alone to do this treasure hunt because they actually can't, and just blowing it up isn't an option. So I don't think we're going to run into them wherever it is we're going underground. Possibly because they can't get in either. But it's when we come back out that there might be problems. So I don't know if you have people to spare for a stakeout and keep an eye on the surrounding area after we go in.
I have people that can be put to that task.
Would you mind terribly if I vetted them before going in with them?
Not at all. I'll have the individuals that I would put up to that task meet up with you before day sleep today.
All right.
Because we should be moving forward this evening.
Mm-hmm. All right, so first thing tomorrow night. Do I still have... Yes, I still have the map. We think we know where it is, but the entrance is most likely magically hidden, so... Well, we're just gonna have to deal with that when we get there, but I'm not expecting the Bali to attack us while we're looking for it, because that would defeat the purpose of dragging us into this to begin with. But again, once we exit whatever dungeon maze we're dealing with, like, I'd say all bets are off.
Very well. Until we have more information, that is the most we can do now.
Mm-hmm.
Go get yourself some rest. We will do what we can, and we will hopefully be able to make some more progress and restore things with some expediency now.
Oh, also, I had a question about, Marlena Schneider, because we had a lot of dealings with her cousin, let's say, coterie, family member? I don't know. Hubert Fonterie? Oh, no, there's...
Oh, Hubert. I remember when he was here working with Marlena, when he was undergoing education on management. Such a delightful young man. So few Toreador will look a Nosferatu in the eye and smile and actually
Mean it.
Exactly.
Yes. Yes, he's a delight to work with. But when
He
we
is. I was heartbroken when he left, though I kind of understand why. Marlene is difficult to work with.
so we had a brief audience with her because we were staying in one of her safe houses. And she didn't seem to know anything about the Bali or anything strange going on and just assumed it was, oh, people are fighting over the princedom, whatever. Not my problem. And so I'm not sure if Hubert didn't tell her because the shit went down in Paris just a little bit before, or if she was lying to us. So is it possible she's evil now? Like, not just annoying, but if she's in on it.
If Marlene Schneider has gone to the Bali or been replaced by them, as you told me happened in Bali,
Yes.
then there could be any number of complications and any number of betrayed members of the untainted kindred of the city. And Hubert and the rest of the De Sable cartel might become very upset and very motivated.
Hubert's already quite motivated. But yes, that's a problem. Hubert's doing everything he can to protect and fortify Paris.
I really wish Marlena was the one that had shipped out. I really do. Hell, I'd have taken that fat fuck they have in Berlin. Another member of the De Sable cartel. He's an asshole, but
Effective.
well, his children are anyway.
Mm.
But it's sort of a package deal. I would deal with him for the three of them any day of the week.
Alright. So that's the plan. So yep. And I take it it's the Bali who have infiltrated the phone lines.
Yes. Setting fire to my tunnels with combustible gases. I heard the screams of Nosferatu through the tunnel gates. They echoed for miles. No, I'm sorry, she would say echoed for kilometers.
Or leagues. Jetson agrees.
Prince, do you still happen to have well, wait, would the Lasombra be called, would they call themselves the Ministry at this point, or no?
The Ministry isn't the Lasombra. The Ministry is the
Setites.
The Setite.
Setites,
It's a
right.
PC term for Setite.
Do you still have your contacts with the Lasombra as you did those that night when everything went to shit? Just to have a magic corner ace in our back pocket?
There are a few Lasombra still in the city. They have walled into their own protections for the most part. Those handful that answer to the Scourge or to the Harpy that answer to the Sheriff rather or to the Harpy are all long
I figured.
rested at this point.
Yes, I saw it was a rather interesting spear. Anyways.
That Gould kitty cat has some very strong
Trying
opinions.
so hard not to lose it.
Yeah, just...
Oh, that's Tigger. Just, they're harmless. Just, give them a couple pets.
Who's a good Tigger?
Tigger is
Not
currently
the Lasombra! No!
Tigger is currently distracted by a string that is being waved about by one of the Nosferatu out in the doorway. He turns his head once he realizes he's being looked at. Sorry. Closes the door.
Yeah. Not the Lasombra. Yeah.
Well,
Goodness
it was worth
gracious.
an idea to ask. I mean, we could always go to the tower and knock on the door. Don't know how much help they'd be.
I don't want to deal with the Tremere right now. Especially if this potentially is mage bullshit, I don't want the Tremere involved. Just no. I just do not want to deal with their entitlement right now. It's a magic thing. That means it's mine. No. So,
Right.
I
Yes,
mean,
most-
I'd be very surprised if you mean the tower, you mean the Tremere, right? Yeah, that's what we're calling it. Yeah. I'd be surprised they even open the door. They're looking to their own interests and laying down for a siege, I assume.
yeah.
When they're not using their bloodcraft to make a few of them swell up and explode, which I've appreciated greatly.
Have any of them started bursting into sunlight at you? The Bali, I mean.
Oh yes, I've had a couple of their thin bloods do that. They raided
Yeah.
one of our safe houses one morning
Oh.
that way. Yeah, that was that was not something I was expecting to wake up to.
Oh, that's a disgusting thought I just had. I wonder if y'all are safer with us here because they need us alive to do bullshit for them.
Well, let's see if they try bombing us to hell tonight or tomorrow then.
Hmm.
I hope that you're as valuable to them as you seem to think you are.
I don't know if I'd rather be wrong about that. Tigger agrees.
They seem to have paid us a lot of attention to give up now.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we can use that usefulness.
Maybe.
Buy us some time to find your doomahickey.
Doomahickey. That might be what it is.
Any hint on what we're potentially skulking around for?
Well, I assume it's not a kindred thing, because then they'd just go get it. I don't know. I won't know till we find it.
Right.
I assume it's magic or magically protected, given that I'm something of an expert in those matters. So I might just need to get through the magical puzzle nonsense to get to it. I don't know.
Well, what do you think, Prince Pooh?
I understand that my official position has been put into a bit of issue, but would you please stop calling me that?
Prince Dear?
Tigger agrees. Eleanor, Tigger's telling you to behave yourself, Eleanor.
Sorry, you get rather cagey after trying not to die for over a year.
I can imagine.
If you can get the information from them of what they want, and we've got a unit watching out for you, we might be able to do something about this.
Well,
if nothing else, watching you as you go in, they might be able to gain a better look at their infrastructure and security so that we might be able to launch an attack against them.
That's good. I will happily contribute to that. Once I see the doohickey, I might have a better idea of what the hell they want with it. The only clue I have is it's under Vienna.
So make it obvious we're here and try and get them to follow us.
The night is growing short. I will have the Nosferatu that I will assign as your private security come to you. You can verify them as much as you like, but then we should probably all rest for the day and then prepare for things to get much more complicated going forward.
Mm-hmm.
They'll show you to a room where you'll be able to rest, and then I will have your security detail swing by for your verification.
Thank you, Prince.
And a couple of Nos come in and guide you along. You're all brought to. It's not the nicest area, but it's comfortable enough.
Yeah, I mean we're in
for the three of you.
We're in a ruin, or we're in like a half-constructed house, you said, or like a bombed house, or
bombed out.
Bombed out, yeah.
Yeah, it's not in the best shape, but there's plenty of nooks and crannies for Nos to hide in up top.
It's what's the Witcher lair again?
Straga?
I don't remember.
Kaer Morhen. That's right.
Yeah.
It's Kaer Morhen. It's a broke down shithole, but you know it keeps out the sun.
It's defensible.
It's serviceable.
Service.
Kaer Morhen is defensible. This safe house is serviceable. They lost the defensible one. Because that was before the Tremere learned how to get past Bali security and start popping their heads. Blood sorcery versus blood sorcery is not a thing they're accustomed to dealing with.
The Tremere or the Bali?
The Tremere.
Oh, okay, yeah. What? We're the other ones blood sorcery. Wah! Yeah. Yep.
No, the Banu Hakim, and we've been fighting them longer than you.
Yeah, but the Banu, but they're a lot more subtle about it. The Tremere won't know they've been hit until it's too late. The Bali are being all blatant and like, look, we have blood sorcery too, bitches. And so, of course, the Tremere have retaliated by hiding in their bedroom and sulking. And refusing to leave their bedroom.
And working rituals. Yes, like about 45 minutes, an hour after you were sequestered away, a half dozen Nosferatu come in to be checked by you.
A half dozen? Oh, this could
That's all she can spare.
Oh, okay. That's gonna be a lot of rouse checks. Whew.
I'll say if you're going to be using Scry the Soul and you're going to be working it like down the line, then it's only going to be the one rouse check because you're just going to carry the sight over from one vessel to another.
All right.
Also, because rolling 6 rouse checks increases your likelihood of having to eat someone to a greater degree, and I don't know if we want to handle you going out onto the street to grab a bite.
Yeah, now is not a good time.
Though, of course, this would be an excellent time to start building up the likelihood of a messy critical. Or a bestial failure. But we're not going to do that because we're trying to wrap this up.
Okay.
I was gonna say Eleanor's probably still in the throne room area.
I passed my rouse check.
In the office area.
Yeah. Okay.
Because the old court throne is not occupied by her pale buttock right now.
Okay, yeah. She just has some things to talk about, so once this is over, she'll...
Yeah.
Shake. 5 successes, including a 10.
Okay. None of them are attempting to resist you at this moment, so what are you looking for?
She is again looking for whether the subject is under the influence of blood sorcery or other magic.
They are not under the effect of blood sorcery.
Okay.
Though all 5 of them are blood bonded.
Okay. Are any of them under dominate?
No dominate. I will say this, at 5 successes looking over this, the foreign aura of the blood bonding all resonates the same. So all 6 of them are blood bonded to the same individual.
Mm-hmm.
You also now have a much better idea what to look for when a kindred is blood bonded because of your and Vern's current statuses.
Okay, so but the resonance of the blood bond isn't neon green, I take it?
No.
Okay. Okay.
The effect is very similar to their own, so you imagine the person they are blood bonded to is also probably a Nosferatu.
That's what I figured. They're either blood bonded to the prince or another high-ranking Nos.
Yeah.
Okay, and she's gonna get a sense of their emotional state. Like, are these? I mean, obviously they're angry and want to kill Bali, but are they gonna be chill enough to like let us do the thing and follow a
They're
plan?
they're scared, they're angry, but they're determined.
Okay, so they can focus, unlike Riza. Okay.
Some of them are more angry, some of them are more scared, but all of them are here to follow orders.
Mm-hmm. Have any of them got any Diablerie lines?
One of them does.
Okay, but normal ones.
They're
not...
regular black.
Okay, that's fine. Wow. Wow, how we scale morality when the Bali are involved.
Based on the level of fading, it looks like they probably perform Diablerie. It's a century for every generation of difference, so it looks like they're coming to the end of it. So assuming it was a same or one generation difference, it was probably like 85, 90 years ago.
Okay.
Like, it's still visible, but it has clearly faded some. And if this wasn't a 0 or 1 generation difference, it was significantly longer ago, but you know.
Well, I mean, you know, the Nos kind of do their own thing, but also Diablerie is sometimes a reward for fighting Sabat really good, is being able to eat one without stigma.
Or blood
Or
hunt.
if the fight pits are anything like they are in Paris, as Vern well knows.
Yeah, or blood hunt, yeah. So, yeah, you know.
I don't think Charisse and Riza know about that.
No, I don't. No.
Oh, no.
I know about
Yeah.
Sabat and blood hunts and that sort of thing. So yeah, Diablerie isn't automatically kill, kill, kill. It's just Vern got the treatment of a red Gyarados because his was neon green, and every person with Auspex was like.
I was talking about in the fight pit. Where
Oh yeah, I know, but I wasn't there
Gyarados.
for that scene.
Yeah.
So, all right, so Riza, all right. Thank you for your help, and I guess we'll see you tomorrow night. Everybody rest up.
They nod and they leave. Is there anything the three of you wish to say before giving into the day rest?
Well, I guess tomorrow we go on a dungeon crawl.
I guess.
And that's the only place I can think of finding answers.
Yeah. Just when we wake up later, if just keep an open mind in case any of those monologuing assholes decide to bother you while you're sleeping.
GM, do I remember dreaming about that one? Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Cause I mean,
I remember all my dreams now too, don't I?
Yes, you do.
I mean that bitch has already bugged me once in my dreams. Like, I'm just like over it. Both of me, in fact.
Yeah.
Indeed. It's like
that harlot.
Charisse wouldn't use the word harlot. Anyway.
It's too crude for Charisse. Even for somebody she really doesn't like.
She is indecent.
Anyway.
Alright, so.
Till then.
Right. If there's nothing else from the three of you, you will get yourselves prepared for the inevitable day sleep. Eleanor, there's something you wanted to say?
So once they're out of the room, she'll look at the print. You think we can trust him?
At this point, we are short on allies, short on resources, short on options. The Hessians that came into the city have been doing the best they can, but they also came in woefully underprepared based on the panicked orders they were receiving, and were not immediately ready for what the Bali are. They've been doing the best they can on the edges of things, resorting to the conversations they've had, but they can't move further into the city to help us at this point.
I don't know. Just lots going on and don't like it. I feel jumpier than a cat in a rocking chair factory.
Says Tigger.
The fact that they don't even know what they're looking for makes me wonder if there's even anything to find. Or if it's just a wild goose chase when we should be focusing on trying to take them out.
That's when the sheriff leans forward, picks up a pen from the table, and begins writing something out on a sheet of paper before lifting it up to show you. It effectively says, because I'm not going to attempt to put that in German off the top of my head, is there's more down there than we would ever want them to get their hands on.
I figured with the way our darling Prince reacted, it was not a good idea to let them down in the catacombs and crawl spaces and what have you. Y'all need a better basement lock.
She puts the sheet back down and she scribbles down something else, and then she lifts it up and she goes, "The kindred are locked up safe. The mages lock up as safe as they can. The other thing, the stories say, was buried deep, too deep to reach."
What other thing? Just so I can, not perchance stumble across it and get eaten? Because I rather lack unlife.
She steps away and pulls an old hand leather bound tome off of a shelf, and the prince is looking, and you recall being one of the kindred present when they went to go rescue some of these books before the sheriff's haven was destroyed. And the sheriff sets the book down with a heavy thud and opens it up, and it's one of those massive handmade tomes, not quite as big as the ones you would see monks inscribing in, but larger than you would typically find printed.
So before the printing press, got it.
Yeah. And she flips through and then stops and holds up this 2-page spread, and in an extremely old dialect of Proto-German, you see things scribbled down there, and then on the second page is a full hand-drawn image of this thing, towering and monstrous, covered in eyes and hands and teeth. You almost swear as you're looking at the image that the mouths and eyes are moving and shifting places as you stare at it. And you don't know if it's an optical illusion or if this is just an aspect of what the thing is.
She takes her right index finger and just gently taps the drawing with her claw. That is some remarkable fleshcrafting, and I do not want to meet it.
She closes the book and sets it back on the shelf before going back to the desk and writing down on the piece of paper again, and lifts it up to you and says, "This is older than fleshcrafting."
That is discomforting in so many ways. Though it would be useful if we could set it on the Bali.
She flips the sheet over and she sits there scribbling for a while before lifting the sheet up again. And it reads, "This is a myth older than the unification of the tribes. this is a myth that predates any of the great wars of ancient times and before the founding of many of the now famous European princedoms. This is a thing of evil, believe the myth, but the ancient ones speak of it as truth. I have met them and I believe them.
Well, considering you told me there's a bunch of beef jerky under the city, I believe you. I know it is not polite to call them beef jerky, but they are just sitting there like beef jerky.
Her eyes tilt up as if she's looking past you for a moment, and then she just looks back down at you.
I look behind me.
Three-eyed beef jerky. Beef jerky with 3 eyes.
Well, goody. So there's something before Cain that is evil beyond measure, and we have the Bali breathing down our neck, and we're supposed to figure out where the magical Doomahickey is.
GM, just to clarify, because we learned some of this stuff from our sleepy, salubri Methuselah friend that time. Yes. I wrote down about, the thing that Lord Salat and Hakim put down 15,000 years ago, but that's not the thing we're looking for. We're looking at the Mage Tomb. As far as
you haven't received your orders yet, so you know that the Bali seem to be digging down in that direction. Yeah. We're using disciplines to move down in that direction.
Yeah, but what we were asked for, our Varstus pointed us towards a likely Mage Tomb.
If they weren't looking for your help to get the thing that resonates with them, then yeah, that was the most next likely bet.
Because I don't think they need they blew up the secondary catacombs in Paris. I don't think they need us to dig. I think, like what we speculated on the train, just double checking, the big scary Bane worm spirit thing is not where we're digging. As far as we know.
As far as you've guessed.
Okay.
Right. Well, I guess it's our best shot other than sending, I want to call him Wade, but he's not Wade.
Watts.
It's Watt.
No, that was out of character that I wanted. But other than sending Watts with, a nice gift basket in the back of a car and letting the car blow up.
I am down for that, for the record. I could probably work a very nice explosive together, so it's not just a Molotov cocktail spreading fire, but an actual explosion. And so it won't be Greek fire, but I can maybe make something that'll work like it.
Roman fire. Well, Venetian fire.
It's a good plan to have in the back of a pocket if it all goes sideways. Well, I should probably turn in for the night, unless you want your fuck off clause now.
I mean, if you've got the time. I gotta take care of my boy. I've been away from him for so long, and now we've been reunited, and now we get to bond over murdering these fucknuts that have been responsible for our separation. I mean, this will be good therapeutic bonding with my child.
And you won't be a deadbeat, sire. Come on. And she just walks out of the room and pauses. Unless there was something you needed from me else, Princey Pooh.
Like a month I thought I was going to be gone. I didn't know it was going to turn into this.
Don't think any of us did, sugar. But, my prince, is there anything else you or our darling sheriff need? Or any more or shattering revelations about what's going to come crawling out of the sewer?
Not yet.
Goody. So you come with me. We're going to go to your child's bedroom. You're going to sit there and let me do this, and we're going to tell him everything we learned. Let's go.
All right, so right before, so I take it after we vet the dudes, and before we go to bed, we get some...
Knock, 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 knock.
Come in.
Oh, hello, everybody. So, Watson, I have things to tell you, and I figured, Vern, since you got your fuck off clause, you want to be here while he gets his fuck off clause.
You're getting fuck off claws too.
Different ones, because I need to make sure they don't catch on the fabric or the bottle when I'm throwing Molotov cocktails or other incendiaries or explosives, because it's kind of a problem if it splashes back on me.
Coward.
I'm almost as combustible as the thing I'm throwing.
So about what?
Then why are you not better at throwing them?
I managed to nail a truck moving at 55 miles an hour through the window, nailing the driver in the face, causing it to shatter with perfect precision to make sure the spatter hits the other one, who incidentally looked like he was trying to rip your skin off from a distance, which I've seen them do, mind you. I'd say I'm pretty fucking good at nailing people with Molotov cocktails.
Yeah, but you should be good at nailing people with Molotov cocktails with giant fuck off claws.
It's okay. He's only used to 4 inches, honey. That's not overwhelming.
Exactly. Look,
Reese is rolling around on the floor and laughs even harder because Watts didn't get it.
These I'm accustomed to working with, right? It took me a while. It took me the better part of the first few years of Unlife.
She just holds up her finger to let him keep going.
to get used to this thickness, this density, until then I realized I needed to get to the appropriate level of sharpness. But then I've learned to work around it. You have no idea how hard
We
it was
have
to use
3 minutes left until dawn. Yeah. Does anyone want to tell us any information?
Yeah.
Oh.
Right. Manicure me.
Alright. So, anyways, we learned there is a giant, scary, fuck-all, teeth, eyes, and smoky darkness that is older than Kane itself under the city.
Oh, it's not older than Kane. Yeah, we, let's just say someone who's asleep under the city themselves, had a conversation with us while we were asleep also. And, this is allegedly something that Lords, as they put it, Lord Salat and Hakim put down 15,000 years ago. And that it is, it's similar to the Bali's aura resonance, however you want to say it, but it's a thicker aura. Like, that the Bali are a diluted form of this. So, I mean, I take it the sheriff knows more than she talks about, because some of those things are ridiculous. If they know where the Bali are digging, they gotta make them stop. Luckily, my suspicion is that we're not digging in that area, but we have another location.
Your hunger went up to 2?
Mm-hmm.
Did you mean?
Yeah, I only have 1. Yeah, so no, it goes up to 2.
Because you said hunger went up 2. So I was like, how did your hunger go up 2 points?
It went up to 2. I forgot the extra 2.
Okay.
Oh, you got it in there.
Okay.
Maybe I just misread it then.
But so he gets 2 points of change that he wants, so hands and something else.
Yeah, this,
Did I hear you right? You can make muscle mass denser to function as armor?
I can.
Can we do that, please?
Do you want to protect your pretty face or something else?
I want to protect my, reinforce this and reinforce the chest area, because these are the things I need to be concerned about getting spattered on a wall.
Okay, right. So I'm going to start the chest first because it's a little easier, and she puts one hand, and then with this, she takes her left, or her right index and her right middle finger, just kind of starts like making a scooping motion, and you kind of start seeing the muscles move up.
Yeah, and I will deduct from his dexterity accordingly, because he's sacrificing dex to basically reinforce strength and con.
Oh, yeah. But yes, it's not older than Kane, because presumably, well, actually, no, it might be, but it took 2 antediluviums to put him in the ground.
Just because it got locked up then doesn't mean it hadn't been around before.
True. Could be older than Kane. Okay.
There's also several cases of beef jerky under the city, apparently,
yes.
and a bunch of mage doomahickeys. So
Yeah, I think we're looking into. My suspicion is that I'm supposed to look into the mage doomahickey. Because obviously they're digging down to the big evil whatchamacallit themselves. They don't need our help for that.
though if we do find him, we could always say, want to go kill some things?
No, I do not think this can be reasoned with.
Huh.
It will, well, we won't have to ask, it'll just kill us, and then go on to kill everything else in Europe.
It'll kill them, which is what they want, because
Yeah,
they want to burn the whole world.
That's kind of the
So,
irony.
yeah.
It's difficult to reason with an enemy that's okay with exploding themselves because they want it. It's, you know, power. You know, people who fuck people up for power, for influence, for territory. That's one thing these people cannot be reasoned with because they just want to destroy everything, including themselves.
Good point. All right, hold still. I'm gonna touch your head, and it's gonna feel like it's kind of a massage and smoothing it out a little, but you'll feel. Don't worry.
Very bony massage.
It's a weird sensation.
Okay, well that's the timer for game. So I hope we start our dungeon crawl next week because it's the last game.
Well, there is something just a little bit that needs to happen
Alright.
here at the end just before we go to close out. So you all head your separate ways. You all lay down for day's sleep.
Yep.
And Riza, Charisse, as you drift off to day's sleep, you both stir awake and find yourselves done in elegant gowns of a long bygone era.
Like
Of-
mine or earlier?
Much earlier.
Okay.
Simple silks, and you're just adorned with jewelry handmade in a time long forgotten by mankind.
This is quite ostentatious. What is...
I just wanted to take a moment to apologize, comes a familiar voice from down the hall. And as the two of you turn around, you see a familiar broad-brimmed hat and white dress.
Well, here we go.
I tried to communicate with you a little earlier, but the, what's the phrase now? The line was busy?
Well, you sent your own minions to kill us, so...
That was a misunderstanding, and the one who gave that order has been dealt with. I do apologize for that. Someone grossly misunderstood my directions, and they have been appropriately disciplined.
Well, that is what happens when the only party line is maximum destruction.
You're right. You're right. I should have kept a firmer hand, a tighter leash. Probably should have just clawed his eyes out a while back, but he was otherwise so very useful, and now he's no longer a part of our organization. So you do have my apologies. But back to business. A day late, but we can still manage. The thing I would like you to acquire is a relic that has been, shall we say, misplaced and mislabeled, and is put in the hands of people that know not what they have. But I do, and I require it. Get this from me. I will give you back Mortimer, mind, body, and all, and you will be able to safely leave Vienna. I'll tell you what, I'll throw in a benefit. You can leave Vienna with any allies you've accrued. You will not be harmed or molested the whole way out.
Are you telling me I have to get into the Tremere Chantry and get one of their toys? Please tell me I don't have to break into a Tremere Chantry.
Oh, 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 I needed that. Thank you.
Well,
Oh, no.
you said put in the hands of people. I assume you meant
Oh,
living or undead.
The Tremere think they are the ones who wind up with these things. No. It's wound up in far less capable hands.
That's
Just generic
sad.
kind. Just generic mortals. It's currently on display, a family heirloom. But older than their family, older than this nation. It actually, well, the component of it I require predates humans moving to this part of the world. Simply put, it's a perfect ruby sphere kept inside a spiraled gold cage pendant and a long chain. What I need is the gemstone inside. You can bring me the pendant entirely if you want, or just the gemstone, but that is the piece I require.
But previously, hadn't you said it would be under Vienna?
Yes, because it's kept in a vault that belongs to this family. And it is technically under the city. Considering the legends that filter among us, I can see where the confusion would come from, yes.
Yes, I mean, we've just been to London. Heard almost firsthand what's under their city. Yes, I was a
Sweet.
little suspicious.
You don't have to worry about Sweet Mithras. We'll get to him in time.
I'm sure you will. And Riza's still thinking, here's the echo on the Malk network of kaiju battle. And Riza kind of wants to see it, but also does not. So, Riza's just sort of,
What you'll see is a person who thinks they're a kaiju versus an actual kaiju.
Alright, so, can you tell us whose family vault? Because we've already been doing research in completely the wrong direction.
Indeed. The family's current name is the Von Schreer. Vonshreer.
Spell that again?
V as in Victor, Onshreer.
Okay.
I require the gemstone. Preferably out of the pendant, but if you can only bring it as the pendant, that will do.
What do you need it for? Or is it just, personal significance?
I need it for work.
Ah, yes. So, of course, things must remain vague.
Well, where would be the fun if I told you everything every time I opened my mouth?
Alright, is that all?
Yes.
I don't suppose proof of life is really something we can ask for in our current state. Oh, and where should we bring this mysterious item for the alleged trade-off?
There is a small cafe. It was formerly a Toreador owned business. You won't be able to miss it. It's in the center of the city. If I tell you the name now, you'll start staking it out and plotting some scheme or another, and that'll slow things down. But when you get to the center of the city, you'll notice it. It would be impossible to miss. But I require the stone sooner rather than later.
Well, we might have the wrong support team, but we'll see what we can do.
Please do. It's very important.
And once we've done this, we can take Mortimer and any allies we want.
Right out of the city, I won't even stop you. I will cease all hostility for 48 hours so that you can gather up everyone you want to leave.
So, your people digging for the big monster, whatever the hell it is, under Vienna, like that is also part of your plan, or is this part of the misunderstanding plan?
No. Well, since you know about that, that part is online.
Alright. Is there anything we have to worry about with this? Well, I mean, if Khan had it and didn't know what it was, I doubt it's gonna react to me holding it.
It shouldn't react to you. It might have reacted to your friend Vern, but things changed. I couldn't reach you, and then Vern felt different. I'm quite curious how that happened.
Vienna's a very... Vienna's a very strange place, and none of it makes sense thus far, so I am the wrong person to ask.
So do we have an accord, or are we just going to go to war?
Well, what I don't understand is if this is just being held by mortals, then why can't you just go get it? Your people have blown up a prince's court, blown up catacombs.
There are extenuating circumstances that make my acquisition of it difficult, as it does for anyone else within my employ.
Alright then, so... We bring you the gemstone and you give us Mortimer back all of his pieces?
All of them.
And no more misunderstanding from your minions?
Not a one.
Well, then it looks like I have no choice but to agree.
Excellent. Then, do give my regards to the prince. She can direct you to their estate. And then I will see you tomorrow evening with my prize. And with that, the darkness fades in around you as the remnants of your day sleep take until you rise the next evening.
Well, I mean, she said any allies, so that I presume that includes Eleanor and anyone from the city who will want to evacuate with us.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, I meant she didn't say that they were going to leave like the prince and everybody alone, that they were just going to leave you guys alone while you went to go get it. If Eleanor's with you, does she count?
Well, she kept saying things like she's not, please don't set up a sting and slow things down. So it's, I think she meant, suspend hostilities altogether. That doesn't mean they're not going to keep digging for Bane monsters.
That's a fair point.
So...
Cool, we got plot direction.
Yeah, I cut out a bunch of shit to try and move things along.
Well,
Oops.
I may have changed the item's location to make things slightly easier and just change the reason why she can't grab it. Just to expedite things.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you all decide to just go fuck it and go, we know where we're supposed to go now. Shotguns for everyone. Dragon's breath round.
I mean, you technically have a bunch of Vienna residents that you could ask before going about where things are.
Well, no, that's what she said is, we should taunt the prince for her. And as where the thing is, and well... So, okay.
I was meaning like the cafe and stuff, because...
Well, yeah, I'm sure the prince knows where Toreador Cafe is. She's a Nosferatu. The Nosferatu know everything. We'll see. Okay, so I guess that's game for tonight.
Yep.
Yay. Oh. Alright, well, thanks everyone for tuning in tonight. This is Magic Fish Radio, and we do TTRPG streams on Tuesdays and Saturday nights. Next week is the Chronicle finale for Eldritch Adversaries, the V5 game set in the roaring or bleeding 1920s. After that, we will start a 4-shot campaign, a 4-game campaign of Alien the RPG. And after those 4 weeks, we'll then do 4 weeks of G.I. Joe in the new Essence 20 system. Gamer gods have mercy on our souls. Please, I hope they hire... Well, that's also not going to be with pre-gens, so hopefully that shouldn't be so bad.
Yeah. The G.I. Joe is definitely going to require a session 0 to better understand character creation there, and by proxy, hopefully better understand game mechanics.
Yeah. And not with pre-gens that they didn't proofread, like in the Power Ranger book.
Dice have mercy on you, Cobra will not.
I really want the Transformers book to not be garbage. It's the only one I cared about.
John has nerd anxieties on this subject. But yes, so this is Magic Fish Radio, and we do this on Saturday nights. We alternate between Exit to Eden, which is NWAD in space, which I run, and it's ridiculous, And on alternating Saturdays, we have indie one-shot games. This week, McKirkwe, one of our Saturday night regular players, will be running Karabos, the Crystal City. Did I say that right?
I think so.
Karabos, the Crystal City. We have a few VODs of previous games of that on Twitch and on YouTube. And, but what's going to be different about this one is Merc finally got all the Kickstarter stuff in the mail. So, lots of stuff, lots of new stuff, and lots of suggestions for custom stuff, and it's gonna be fun. And, yeah. And Chrysilla doesn't have anything else going, so just join our Discord, follow our social medias, follow us on Twitter, on Twitch. No, but really just join our Discord, because I suck at all the other social media. And I'm the channel producer.
Discord is the best.
Discord! So much Discord! And if you're interested in gaming with us, we still have spots open on the next few Tuesday night games. On the Discord, there is a form that you can fill out to apply to game with us on Tuesday nights as player, or on Saturday nights as one-shot GM or player. Exit to Eden, I think we're good on players for a bit. And yeah, yoo-hoo! Fennec should be joining us next week, or for Exit to Eden. Yay!
Woot! Shifter time!
More werewolves! Yay!
But yeah, thanks for having me on, y'all.
Yeah!
It's great.
Yay!
Hope to hang around more.
Someone
You showed me kindness and affection. I'm your problem now.
I hope you enjoyed it. That's all that really matters. I just hope you enjoyed it.
Well, the question is, are you more of a problem for us or for the Bali? Because then you're new best friend.
Depends if we stop for a beef jerky run.
We spoke personally with some of that beef jerky and saw the security system that those 100 pieces of three-eyed beef jerky have. See last episode's VOD, chat, and no, nothing could make Riza or Charisse that hungry. No. Bollywood. Yep. So yeah, follow us on Discord. I've run out of things to say, or I'm forgetting them. So join our Discord and figure out what it is I forgot to say now. Yay.
All right.
I'm gonna go look for someone to raid.
Then let's go through the last of the closing bits. Dracus, if you would so kindly.
Hi, I'm Dracus. I've been playing Vern this evening. I will play Vern again next week. Usually I am here on Saturday nights during Exit to Eden playing Klaus, the resident asshole mage medic. I won't be here this week, but I have started running Demon Hunters again, so I'll do that sometimes for our indie one-shot nights. And you can find me on Discord and Instagram as actual Dracus, just like I am in chat here.
All right. Fennec, if you would.
Hey, I'm Fennec. I've been playing Eleanor Tanis, our very bubbly Samitsi. Even I forget she's not a traditional Samitsi.
Look, I'm not gonna lie. Last time I was playing a Toreador, I was called every clan with a T except a Toreador by all the other players in the Chronicle on multiple occasions. It's a long-running gag with T clans.
It is. I'm on most social medias as the Fennec Wolf. Instagram is that Fennec Wolf. And yeah, I'm gonna be here on Tuesday nights, hopefully for a little while, and I'll be joining the Return to Eden?
Exit to Eden.
Exit to Eden.
It's based on a movie that's about something else entirely. It's a pun on a very different kind of movie.
That's fair. My character is... You'll see.
I don't even know yet, and I'm the GM. I'm excited. Woohoo!
You and me both.
And Justin?
Hey, I'm Justin. I've been playing the surly, quiet gangrel Andrew Giles. I do have certain social medias that tend to not really post as much. And when I do post, it's usually just like either link, either links to some stuff, to some fun stories that I see, or most likely replies to my friends in the form of funny gifs. But I do, I do on occasion, in a once in a blue moon, do stream on Twitch, and I do mean once in a blue moon because it's been a couple of months since my last stream. But I also do play testing for a nice little gaming company known as Nerdy City, who have a couple of good books that are out now, specifically a book called Rememorex, which is 1980s fun and adventure with a kind of Stranger Things sort of vibe to it. I help playtest the game. It's fun, and apparently a nice little joke that I pulled off basically has turned into a living hell of a nightmare in my play in the playtest groups. I'll put it to you this way: I made a joke about, oh, my characters or must be orphan, must have they taken something from Orphan Black,
Love that
and
show.
I found out that yeah, it's true.
Okay. All right. So, we are
It's
going to we are going to raid. We are Nerdsmith, who they're running shenanigans, but they're calling it it's a micro RPG one shot with one player and one GM. I think I didn't have the sound on because the OBS will get cranky. So we're going to raid. We are Nerdsmith tonight.
Sounds about right. Then I don't know what Ange and Co are doing, but it's gonna be awesome.
Well, it's Ange and one co. So, but we'll see. But yeah, I am curious to see what is going on over there. Okay. So, chat, thanks again for hanging out with us tonight. Join our Discord, join our Discord, join our Discord. I hope we give you adequate nerdy distractions for an evening in the ridiculous world we currently all live in, especially those of us who live in the US. So, until we see you next time, please take care of yourselves, please take care of each other, and please diablerize responsibly. Bye!